Greetings, everyone. This is Rocco Swat Country with the weekly comic book roundup. We got a decently sized haul today. Just enough for two videos. First off, we'll be dealing with this week's X-Men book, Avengers books, Cosmic and well, Miscellaneous. So we'll kick things off with X-Men #1. Alright, so now that House of X and Power of the 10 are over, it's time to get back to the business of monthly, ongoing X-Men titles. And in the next 6 weeks, we're going to see just as many. Starting now, we're going to be seeing 6 start up, with at least 2 more beginning in February, along with a third that's been hinted at, though the third one doesn't yet have a release date. So, X-Men #1. We begin with a flashback to when, the first time Scott tried on the ruby quartz glasses. And also, we see this is happening, I presume, at Xavier's. And there's also a prototype for Cyclops' visor off to the side. We get a quick rundown update. Mutants around the world are flocking to the island nation of Krakoa for safety, security, and to be part of the first mutant society. Standing between that sacred land and the human world are the human heroes of mutantdom, the X-Men. So we begin. So, get going to now. We see the X-Men attacking the last Orcus stronghold on the planet. And they're making pretty short work of the Orcus troops. You got Storm and Cyclops leading the charge. With backup from Magneto and Polaris. However, one of the scientists is basically trying to make sure that Dr. Mars is trying to make sure that the information at the hub does not fall into the hands of the X-Men. And so Dr. Mars and his guards inject themselves with something that turns them into gorillas. Magneto has Cyclops and Storm and Polaris push forward while he takes care of the gorillas. So they find captured mutants in cryotubes. And so Storm pulls out a gateway flower to create a great gateway to Krakoa. And the mutants are freed, except that there's one tube that's different. She's post-human. Boasts massive atemporal development. Apparently she's one of the children of the Vault. And the X-Men try to get her to come with them, but she leaves. So the rest of the children head home, head to Krakoa with the X-Men. Dr. Reyes is present to, get everyone a checkup, check everyone out, make sure they're all right. There are 2 that are radiating a great deal of energy. That Storm's like, hey, since with this energy they're radiating, I'm going to stick around as a precautionary measure. Magneto has become quite the hero amongst the younger mutants. One even volunteering, to, wanting, asking to go with Magneto to, fight those who would oppress mutants. And Magneto says, "Hey, look, I spent my life fighting so that you don't have to." And Cyclops and Polaris discuss how things are with Cyclops and his family, and Cyclops tells Polaris that she's more than welcome to join them at the summer house for family dinner, but she's maybe next time. But they talk some more, and Scott goes on to explain something he remembers from when his son Nathan was first born, and for the first time, but now. Things will be different. However, at the Orcus Forge, other members of Orcus are arriving, and a funeral is being held for those killed in the X-Men's assault on the Forge. Omega Sentinel meets with Director Devo, the leader of Orcus, who expresses some misgivings, and he has no plans, it seems, to throw Dr. Gregor out of the bus. But yeah, they eject the various the bodies of the Orcus troops killed into the sun, and back in the mutant habitat known as the Summer House, which it turns out is on the moon. Cyclops and his father's Corsair are meeting up, and we also see that Vulcan is cooking steaks for everyone, including Logan. Logan wants his rare. However, Vulcan decides to make it medium rare. Raza and Cable are comparing weapons. And seriously, the Cable Jean Grey dynamic is great. Basically, Cable shouting, "Mom, is it cool if I trade guns with Raza?" And she says, "Set the table first, dear." There's a small little moment with Hepzibah and Rachel, and Alex and Scott bring Corsair a flower, basically to be planted in the arboretum on the Starjammer, so they have a Krakoan gate, and so that way Corsair can then just literally walk from the Starjammer to the Summer House. We also get a breakdown of the Summer House, which is apparently on the blue area of the moon, or adjacent to it. There are a total of 6 floors. top floor is observation. There's tactical ops, a gymnasium, a central living, dining, and sleeping area, hangar and turnabout area, as well as a sublunar biome, pool, and gateway access. And the summer house also serves as a departure point for first response, first strike capabilities. And finally, we get a breakdown as to the floor plan. Cyclops, Wolverine, and Jean Grey all have rooms that are. Jean Grey's room is connected is adjacent and connected to both rooms of Cyclops and Wolverine. So yeah, we're just gonna say it. They all fucking. Vulcan and Havoc have their own room, and Cable and Prestige have their own room. We also find out just how dishwashing is done. It's like if you know those the sprayer you have on your attached to your sink. It's one of those. Only it's biological. Spits out goo rather than water. Now, let's explain that what the goo is sprayed all over the plate, and it eats the bacteria and waste. Then it converts it into various elemental gases and just evaporates, leaving behind clean plates. Apparently, the initial plan was that Krakoa tried to grow edible plates that improved what it considered to be abnormal biological functions. The plates in the goo were a compromise. And of course, there mentions that he's worried about Scott and his brothers. But Scott's like, there's no end of things on Earth or out here in the universe that want to kill us. They never stop coming. So, he'll always be a fighter, fighting for what he believes in. But he's also surrounded by the people he loves. So, he's done focusing on the things that want him dead, and he's choosing to spend his days focused on the things that make him want to live. Back on the Forge, Director Devo has a chat with Dr. Gregor, and it seems Dr. Gregor may have found a way to bring back her husband. So it appears we'll be getting more when it comes to Orcus. That is where the issue ends. Next up, we've got Captain America number 15. We left off with Cap. Cap and the Daughters of Liberty had managed to bust up a human trafficking organization run by a militia group known as the Watchdogs. And they were operating at the southern border of the U.S. So we open up with some narration from Cap. Put over panels of a cop watching operations seemingly go down, and then being shot dead by an unseen assailant. At the Sisters of Liberty, the Daughters of Liberty's base, They're looking over the information they gleaned from the watchdogs. Lots of familiar faces. And he realizes that one of those faces is let's see, Alexa Lucan. And Cap initially figures that Alexa is the daughter of Alexander Lucan, rather than his wife. Let's explain that someone is on Alexa Lucan. However, they aren't telling Cap just who it is. And Cap doesn't appreciate secrets being kept. And so well, Cap's a friend of Cap's is a lawyer contacts him. They meet in New York to discuss the death of the plainclothes detective from earlier, Angel Larimore. She also goes on to explain, there are bad things going on in this town, and Wilson Fisk as mayor has not helped that along. So he gets a tip, goes to follow it up, and runs into the daughters fighting more of the watchdogs. This time around, it's Spider-Woman and Misty Knight. And it looks like there was some involvement between Larimore and the watchdogs. So they watch the video, and it's execution going down. And the beginnings of it was the death of Angel Larimore. And then comes the end when the leader of the whole thing is revealed to be none other than Scourge of the Underworld. So it's interesting to see the Scourge, come back. Scourge is an identity that's been taken on by various points. The original version of Scourge was a more extreme take on the Punisher, and more extreme, less personal take. Scourge would go around killing villains and shouting "Justice is served." There was the most prolific assault he made was on a single bar filled with villains, and in the aftermath, stood over the body shouting "Justice is served." Moving on to Captain Marvel number 11. So where we left off, the identity of Star was revealed to be none other than reporter Ripley Ryan, who Carol met at the beginning of the series. And it was revealed that the device inside Carol is feeding Star's powers. And that there are similar devices in civilians in New York that have been exposed to some of the same things that Carol has tried to stop. So Carol and Star duke it out. Carol makes the sacrifice to basically put the implant back inside of her. to basically. So it's like, okay, fine, you're gonna siphon energy from me and not them. Carol and Star duke it out. Star pretty makes it clear that yeah, she's pretty much been behind everything. And Hazmat steps in to help to lend an assist. And then Carol pulls Star's implant out of her, and well, that's that. She then destroys. Also, it should be noted before all this happened that a young girl actually basically bought Carol a few minutes of time by getting between her and Star, and then Star knocked the girl aside. Then once all the fighting's done, Avengers show up, namely Spider-Woman, Iron Man, and Rhodey, and it's suggested that they put Star on the raft because, powered or not, she's dangerous. The implants have been removed and or counteracted from everyone, and Carol and Rhodey leave together, spend the evening together in Maine. Later that night, Carol tosses a bottle of whiskey up into the air and blasts them with her powers. They just prove, yep, they're still there. However, at the raft, Ripley Ryan has come to a conclusion. She now has the Reality Stone, which Carol was briefly the protector of. So while she might not have the powers that she had, she might not be leeching powers off of Captain Marvel, she has power. Interesting note, that is 2 of the Infinity Stones accounted for post-Infinity Wars. And that's where the issue ends. Moving on to Guardians of the Galaxy number 10. So, where we left off in Guardians, the Cocoon's holding the army of messiahs for the Universal Church of Truth started hatching. And it wasn't Adam Warlock inside, or Magus, but rather Drax, the Destroyer. Meanwhile, on a out-of-the-way planet, Groot, Rocket, and Moondragon tracked down a child version of the Magus. So we open up on the Magus tells his story. He was taken in by a group called the Order of the Healing Truth, former members and survivors of the Universal Church of Truth. And their whole thing was they wanted to, eradicate the harm that the cult, the Church of Truth had done to the galaxy. But it just so happens they saw him as part of that harm, so they showed up to try and kill him. And he destroyed them. And then native creatures came to him and Maggots befriended them. So Rocket tells Maggots what's been going on with the Church of Truth. They're back. They're from the future or something. However, Moondragon has some misgivings. Like, yeah. He just told us a story where he murdered a group of people. Seeing how this is a maggot, should we really? And, then he's like, yeah, hey, I can hear both of you quite clearly. And so, telepath, you're a telepath. If you want, verify the story for yourself. But she's like, no, I'm good. So Rocket continues telling him what's going on, and Maggie's like, okay, yeah, I'll help. I'm really actually kind of very bored here. So, but Rocket pretty much collapses. Turns out he basically needs his armor to survive. Groot's not entirely comfortable with this, to be perfectly honest. Meanwhile, back in Cathedral, Star-Lord tries talking to Drax. It doesn't go well. And Drax tries to kill Peter. As the other cocoons start to hatch. And then Jason of Sparta tells the Drax clones to tear Star-Lord apart. But a psychic assault hits them and hits everyone but Peter. And he's like, do I have powers? And that serves as the point when the Starship Bowie crashes into Cathedral. And Groot, Moondragon, Kid Magus, and Rocket Raccoon in his Gundam suit, in his Mobile Suit Gundam, pop up on the ship, ready to kick ass and take names. That's where the issue ends. Yeah. Showing just how bad things are for Rocket. That's, yikes. Alright, moving on to Contagion number 3. Where we left off, oh god, what do they call it? The Urchin had seemingly been stopped. But the however, at the cost of stopping the Urchin, Mr. Fantastic, the Human Torch, Invisible Woman, Cloak, Dagger, and Luke Cage, and Doctor Strange all fell to him and are now infected with this contagion, as well as 2 members of the Yancey Street Gang, which is where we start off with them at McCarthy Medical Institute, and yeah, the fungus is spreading from both infected members, and on to the people nearby. Back on Yancey Street, okay, now this is when the Urchin gets stopped but just because the Urchin stopped, and speaking with the voices of people it's infected and using their powers. They don't get back up though when the Urchin falls. So, once again, the Avengers are contacted. This time, Iron Man saying that he'll be there. He's going to collect some samples of the study and see if they can't figure out how to clean up the mess. Iron Fist goes to tell Jessica Jones just what's happened, and she's not happy at all. At all. She is ready to just rip Iron Fist apart. Oh. And Base says, okay, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go. I'm going to go with, all the people you brought with you. You're going to stay here and watch Danny. And Iron Man arrives at the Sanctorum, scans the bodies of the infected members of the Fantastic Four, and explains that they are seemingly preserving him, and the fungus is preserving them somehow. And looks like we've got 6 days to stop the fungus from devouring Reed, Sue, Johnny, and everyone else. And another carrier has awoken in the hospital. In Harlem, Iron Fist goes to Pawn Magico, where he ends up meeting up with the League of International Magic Practitioners, who are rather perturbed that the leader of which is rather perturbed that Iron Fist went to Doctor Strange instead of coming to them. Meanwhile, on Yancey Street, Jessica Jones, Sparrow, and some of the others are dealing with Russian looters who are basically, coming upon the bodies of the infected to, like, hey, these people don't need the. Oh, hey, you seem to be dead. You don't need your wallet. Then more reinforcements show up. White Tiger, Elektra, Punisher, Black Tarantula. On 42nd Street, the League of International Magic Practitioners and Iron Fist work on doing a ritual, which Iron Man notes sees happen. And he calls for. He basically says, "Hey, I've got some samples, so everyone meet me in the lab. Need all hands on deck." It appears that the fungus is starting to pop up on Iron Man's armor, and looks of it, it might actually be spreading. So he may have contracted it too. Moon Knight then arrives to join in the bargain to join up with the bargain, as he calls them, the bargain basement Avengers. And Jessica tells each of them, hey, the Thing beat the monster that did all this. And Moon Knight just says, if Ben Grimm already punched the bad guy into oblivion, then what the hell is that monster currently ripping up Penn Station? It's the girl from the hospital, and standing against her are the Wrecking Crew. So, holy crap. Some of my favorite B-list villains getting the chance to be good guys. Again. That's where the issue ends, though. I really enjoy 5-week events like this, where it's like, okay, we're just going to put one issue out per week. That'll be the story, and that'll tell the story. Anyway, that's it for this half of the roundup. We still got this week's Absolute Carnage tie-ins. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the search box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long, and rock hard.